Hello there. Today we're in London, England, and we're on the south bank of the River Thames, and we're looking at the Royal National Theatre. Actually, wasn't my intention to draw this. I was walking past it on the way somewhere else, and just the sun caught it right, and I thought, well, here we go, let's do a quick sketch while we've got our pad with us. The Royal National Theatre is quite famous in London as having a lot of detractors. Basically, a lot of people don't like it because it's a sort of what we refer to as a brutalist style, very concretey. And I think a lot of people miss the point. It was built, completed in 1962-63, I think. And it's a very prestigious theatre. It has 3 main stages in it. All the great and the good have performed here. And it's designed to be incredibly approachable, by which I mean you don't feel as if you have to dress up to go there. You know, it basically looks like a giant car park, multi-storey car park, or perhaps an old shopping mall or something like that. It's designed to not feel like a big, grand, old school kind of theatre with a big red curtain and lots of gold and twiddly bits. So it's meant to feel as if you can just walk in there like you would walk into a cinema. And it was done that way very purposefully. Now, the drawing we're going to do today, I'm doing something a bit different, almost a bit of a step back in time, just because I felt the urge to. We've chosen a piece of brown paper, and we've done a very light pencil kind of drawing just to give ourselves the main kind of outlines of where the form will be. And then we're going in with what looks like watercolour, but is in fact a sort of wet acrylic wash. Now, I pre-mixed these a few days before, just a couple of colours, so using Rowney, I think they were, acrylic inks, which I've watered down quite massively, just to give me this sort of very thin wash of tone, I suppose, of shadow. I just find it really exciting to kind of mix up your techniques a bit. Even when I mixed these inks up, I didn't know what I was going to draw, so I'd have used these 2 colours on anything I was drawing today. So it's quite liberating, I think, quite refreshing, personally. I think you should always challenge yourself, you should always surprise yourself, you should always throw something different in your sketching bag. You should always be prepared to take a chance, because I think it helps you to recognise the ultimate sketchiness of a sketch, the fact that it's never art, it's always just a response to what you see, and you should enjoy the kind of the things you want to say with your pens. So once I'd used the acrylic ink to create this shadow undertone, I've gone in there with my white acrylic pens just to really punch forward the sort of the bright sun on this concrete facing, just to really bang everything forward in a really positive way. The reality is the building's grey, it's not white. But again, I'm responding to how I want to see the building. It's the beauty of a drawing as opposed to a photograph. It's what I think, it's what I want to show. And I like this building, so I'm going to show it in a really positive light. Then out comes the Indigraph, of course, filled with acrylic ink. And I'm using my black line just to kind of frame and highlight everything that I think is important within this view. Just to make sure that there's definition and sharpness. Unusually for me, and I think a good learning moment, I do recognise here that if I was just to frame every one of these forms with a black line, I'm going to lose some of the softness, so I do actively choose to keep the sort of the line framing device technique to the lower part of the drawing and allow the upper part of the drawing to kind of keep its slightly dreamy undefinedness. And you'll see me here bringing out the old Tombows just to bring that shadow quality, and they're very reliable for a shadow effect. I only ever really use greys and blues in Tombows, but I would recommend that everyone has a couple in their bag. They just provide a very useful kind of way of pushing back colours. I'm also bringing out the fine line acrylic pen here, the Tooli-Art, just to bring out some of the balustrading, which would be difficult to do any other way. And again, it helps to bring a little bit of delicacy and a bit of refinement. The building is surprisingly refined, although again, most people see it as being looking like something from World War II. But there is a delicacy to the way it's being formed in architectural terms, often in the finer details, and it's nice to be able to respond to that with a finer line. It just kind of does its justice, I think. Within 10 minutes of starting this drawing, I felt really positive about it. In fact, I think the conclusion has a real charm to it. There's a softness that comes with the acrylic ink wash that's both confident and hesitant at the same time in a strange way, just like watercolour would look. I think it works really pleasantly against the brown paper, kind of really responds to that well, brings a warmth. The actual building, of course, is concrete and ultimately grey, and not necessarily friendly in visual terms, but I believe its intentions are friendly. Its intentions are, it's like a machine for theatre to take place in. It's not trying to be sort of magical, or it's not trying to hide how it works. It sort of expresses its form as a direct response to its function. So you can see the towers over the stages. There's kind of multiple entrances, multiple bars. It all feels very easy to kind of walk in and through, and very, very approachable. Then I respond to the people. There's a lot of people in this square, and there's a lot of buzz, a lot of chat, and it feels positive. There's happiness here somehow. So I wanted to draw people in the drawing, which is something I really do, quite honestly. I'm kind of famous for not drawing figures, because I always feel as if people get in the way. Which sounds awkward, isn't it? But in this case, I think people were the point of the space. I think the building wants to be surrounded by people. So I felt as if I should represent that in the drawing, allow the building to have its way. You see me here using the blue Tombow to sort of scrub over the entire lower part of the drawing, just to blend it, really, just to give it a harmonious quality. There's a very faint blue over it that very few people would know is there, but it does do a job. You could certainly tell if it wasn't there. It does kind of harmonise and soften everything. And super unusually for me, I actually go in and give some of these people personality. I'm colouring in their t-shirts, for heaven's sake. I'm just becoming crazy, man. And here we have the final drawing. It has a pleasant sort of 50-year-old feel to it. It feels like a drawing that somebody might have drawn at the time, I'd like to think anyway. And I really enjoyed doing it, and I hope to do more very much in the same kind of style. So thank you very much for watching along. I appreciate it.